Avery was 29 when she finally realized that her fast city life had stopped feeling like living. New York City had given her everything she thought she wanted: a good job, a small apartment with a skyline view, and a boyfriend who looked perfect on paper. But after years of endless work, broken promises, and a relationship that turned cold, she found herself staring out of her office window one night asking, "Is this it?" The next morning, she packed her bags, resigned from her job, and drove 10 hours back to her hometown, Savannah, Georgia. The air was warmer there, slower, kinder. She hoped she could breathe again. Back in Savannah, the streets looked the same, but Avery felt different. Her parents were happy to see her, but she could tell they were worried. She smiled, but her eyes carried exhaustion. Days passed quietly. She walked by the river, visited old cafes, and tried to remember who she was before the city changed her. One afternoon, while walking downtown, she saw a flyer pinned on a bulletin board. "Beginner guitar class. Find your rhythm again." She smiled softly. Maybe that's what I need, she thought. When she walked into the arts center, she heard a warm, deep voice humming along to a guitar. It was Justin. He was 34, tall, with calm eyes and an easy smile. He had been a touring musician for years, big cities, late nights, crowds, until it all became too loud. Now he was back home, teaching music to anyone who wanted to learn and rediscovering what peace sounded like. Avery introduced herself nervously. "Hi, I'm probably your worst student already." Justin laughed. "That's what everyone says before they play their first song, from the very first chord." She was hooked. Not just by the music, but by the way he made her feel safe learning again. His patience had a rhythm of its own. When she made mistakes, he smiled and said, "Music is not about perfection. It's about honesty. If your heart feels it, it's right." Something in those words stayed with her. Over the next few weeks, their connection grew. After class, they would talk, sometimes about music, sometimes about life. She told him about her past relationship and how she lost herself trying to please someone who never saw her. He shared how the road had been lonely, how fame didn't fill the silence inside him. Their talks were slow and honest, two people rediscovering how to feel again. Sometimes he would sit beside her, guiding her fingers across the strings, his voice gentle, his warmth close. There was nothing rushed about their bond. It was quiet, deep, healing. A few weeks later, Justin invited her to a small outdoor recital he was hosting for his students. Fairy lights hung above the courtyard, casting a golden glow. When Avery arrived, he was on stage, playing a soft melody that seemed to float through the air. Every note felt like a heartbeat, and every wordless pause felt like a confession. When he finished, the small crowd clapped, but his eyes found hers instantly. "That song," he said, smiling shyly, "is for someone who reminded me that peace can be beautiful again." Avery's heart trembled. She knew he meant her. After the recital, they sat under the lights, sipping coffee, listening to the waves from the nearby river. She whispered, "You make it sound like healing can be music." He looked at her, eyes soft. "It can be. You just have to play the right notes with the right person." And under that quiet sky, he leaned closer. Their lips met, slow, tender, and real. It was not about passion. It was about presence. It was the sound of two broken hearts finding the same rhythm again. They did not rush into anything. Life continued, simple and steady. Avery started working remotely, writing about music and mental wellness. Justin spent his mornings teaching and his evenings writing new songs. But every day ended the same: a long walk, laughter, and that unspoken gratitude that they found each other when they least expected it. One afternoon, Justin surprised her with a picnic by the river. He played her favorite song on his guitar. She closed her eyes and swayed to the sound. When she opened them, she whispered, "This feels like home." He smiled. "That's because it is." A year later, Justin invited Avery back to the same courtyard where they first met. It was decorated with warm lights again, just like that first recital night. But this time, only one chair waited in the middle. He handed her a guitar, her own, polished and engraved with the words, "When healing met harmony." Tears filled her eyes. "You named it after us?" He nodded. "Because that's what we are. You healed, I found harmony. Together we made music again. As she strummed her first chord, Justin walked behind her, wrapped his arms around her gently, and whispered, "You are my favorite song." She turned, smiled, and kissed him, slow, meaningful, endless. That night, they danced barefoot under the lights while the guitar hummed beside them. They were not just two people in love, they were two hearts that had learned to play again. Because love, when it's right, does not need to rush. It heals, it teaches, and it sings softly, just like music that never ends.